What's up guys, Josh back again, finally, with another POV magic video. Today we're going to be talking about the Erdnase brake, some of its uses, some of the ways you can utilize it, and why you should use it. So, this is one of those things that not many magicians know about. Honestly, I have lots of card magician friends who have been doing cards for many years and they didn't even know that this was a thing. And this is something that I picked up while learning the classic pass. And I gradually started incorporating it into lots of other controls and types of utilities and stuff. Basically, what the Erdnase brake is it's a way to hold a brake with your right hand and apparently have a squared up deck with no brakes visible. But you can see I actually have quite a large brake there. So this allows me to hold the deck in my right hand or my dominant hand and keep holding a brake. So this can be very disarming, especially like if you see this image here, it doesn't feel like I could be doing anything with the cards right now. It feels very fair and free, and doesn't feel suspicious or anything. So this can be a nice way to kind of misdirect the audience for a bit while you get ready to go into the move, whatever move you want to do. So one of the most utilized ways is to do a double undercut with this. So this is what I would say that you guys should start out practicing with it, and then you can move on to doing the classic pass, Herman pass, and the Mahatma control or Mahatma pass. All work fantastic with this type of brake. Originally, this brake, I believe, was utilized as a brake under a single card on the top of the deck. So the reason why you'd use this is because then you can actually cut like the top card to the bottom, or you could do like a brow reversal like this, and I've reversed the card in that process. So it's pretty helpful to be able to get a brake under the top card if you want to control that card somewhere or to reverse that card somewhere. So a way to do that is use the Erdnase brake. So, but today we're going to be focusing mostly on just using it as a way to control cards from the middle of the deck to the top or to the bottom. So, but I will touch on some of the other ways you can utilize it as well. Now, for the top card, I actually don't use the original method. I kind of came up with my own little handling for it, and I use kind of a bubble brake like this, and then I get into it this way. And then that's how I get my brake under the top card. And there's a lot of things you can do from here, like I said, but I'm not going to get into that one today. You guys can be creative with it and figure out ways to utilize that if you want. But today we're going to be focusing on how to get a brake in the middle of the pack, and then how to use it from there. So let's talk about it. This is pretty simple, but there is a little bit of procedure to it, and this is something that's not necessarily very easy at first. It seems very simple, but there is some little details to it that make it take some practice. So in essence, all we're doing is we're holding the top left and the bottom left edge with our middle finger and thumb. So we're holding both packets, but we're squeezing with the thumb and the middle finger at the front. I also use my middle finger. I keep pressure there as well, just for added stability. And then the other fingers are covering that gap at the front. And you're always going to keep a little bit of a tilt to the deck like this, so that people from my right hand side won't be able to see any discrepancy, any break or anything like that. So this is essentially it. So how I get into it so this is the basic way is to have two packets, right? So you could ripple down, pick up, show the card, whatever you want to do, and then get the break from here. So what I do is I set it down right about halfway. So right in the middle of the pack is when I contact it with the top packet, right here at an angle, okay, at an angle, and it slides up until it touches the pad of my thumb and my actual thumb. So they're going to contact up on the pad of my thumb and my actual thumb here. Okay, now I'm going to use my ring finger here to kind of keep it from closing as I squeeze with my index or with my middle finger and thumb. So I'm squeezing both packets, so now I have a break. And it's just being held with the thumb and the middle finger, like this. There may be some discrepancies at first when you first start practicing the Erdnase brake. You will get some discrepancies here on the side, and it may not look perfect, but it's just going to take some practice, and that will go away. So, but one way to help that is to bevel the deck with your thumb as you kind of square it all up. So it comes here, you push it up against the hand, you squeeze first, and then once it's squeezed, what I do is the fingers under here are squeezing inwards, and so is the thumb squeezing outwards, I guess. So there's a pressure like this. So you're creating that pressure with both hands, and then you're going to square the thumb along the edge, and you're going to create a bevel. So see, I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's just a little bit of a bevel, so it's at an angle, so it's not perfectly up and down and square, and that will help hide that little discrepancy of the break there on the side. But again, you're only going to be holding this break most times for about a second. I use this as a transitionary thing. So I don't often just set the pack down in Erdnase break like this, although that is something you can do with, like, if you were going to do the double undercut, I would do it that way. And then maybe gesture, talk, take a break, take a couple seconds before you actually go in and cut. So get that little bit of that time misdirection, and then you can start doing the cut when people aren't really looking at your hands. Even though the double undercut can be done burned, it's not recommended. You want to still use misdirection, and this is a great way to do it, because without the Erdnase break, you're holding our thumb break like this, and that's pretty obvious, and you can see that, you know, pretty easily if you're on the left-hand side. So the Erdnase break is just a lifesaver for the double undercut. You can do it fully surrounded now without seeing any discrepancies or breaks there on the edge. Now, obviously, if you look really carefully, yeah, you can see a little something, but nobody even knows to look for that, and even if they saw it, they won't know what it is, and they would think nothing of it. So really deceptive way to hold a break with your right hand. Fantastic. So again, this is always a transitionary thing for me. So I usually start with a pinky break. So I'll get a pinky break, I'll lose their card or whatever, maybe do a riffle, and the card's lost. Now when I'm ready to go into the move, I simply am going to just push up. Actually, I'm not going to push up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, only once my hand comes over and grips, remember we're gripping middle finger and thumb on the edge. As soon as that happens, I'm actually kind of pushing down the bottom packet like this. See how I lever it down? I'm doing that by using my ring finger. I'm pushing up against the top packet with my ring finger, but actually just letting that bottom packet fall away. So it's like kind of a push-pull action. So you're not pushing the top packet up, you're lowering the bottom packet. Okay, so it's just, again, let's go through that. So you have a pinky break first. So usually how I do it is I get a pinky break first because it looks better, it feels more fair, and then once I'm here, then as I come grip it here, I'm just doing this. Okay, and then the fingers come to cover, and then you can do that little square action if you want to. Boom, we got the Erdnase break. Now I can do any number of controls from here. Now, one of the best ways to utilize this is with the classic pass, because one of the things that gets people in trouble with the classic pass is getting their left hand, their deck hand, into the grip for the pass. It's always very fidgety, a lot of movement, very, very sus. So if you go here first, now when I come in to get into the grip for the pass, it happens much smoother, and there's almost nothing to see here. That's it. So I'm coming in, look how much space I have. I can just come right in there into the whole pass grip, and we're good to go. So I can be talking, gesturing, I can come here and then do my pass, just like that. So it makes the pass much, much easier to do, and a lot less finger movements, a lot more space for the packets to clear each other as well. So this is definitely something, anybody who's interested in improving their pass, this is probably, I would say, the prerequisite. Once you learn this technique and this style of break, your passes are going to pretty much instantly improve. However, it's going to take a lot of practice to be able to get smooth at using this type of a break, and it feels a lot different. It's not something that your hands are going to be used to doing at first, so, but don't let that discourage you. This is well worth learning. This is honestly one of the best ways to use a break, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind. It's definitely worth studying and getting good at, even though at first it might feel clunky to you. It might feel very clunky getting into it, and it might feel awkward. And you might be like, oh, why am I doing this? I could just do a pinky break. Well, the more you use it, the more you're going to start to see, you know, the light bulb's going to turn on. You're going to say, okay, you know what? This is actually insane. This helps me a lot. This is a lot more deceptive. It's a lot easier. It's a lot smoother. Okay, so just take some time and just practice that for now. So boom, set it in about halfway. It slides up, context here. I squeeze with the fingers here. Square with the thumb as I cover that front gap. Okay, Erdnase break. Now we can pause, we can take as much time as we want. Everything is nice to go, nice and ready to go for whatever we want to do next. So This also works fantastic with the Mahatma control, or the Mahatma pass. So again, I'm here, whenever I'm ready, I can come here and I can just execute that Mahatma pass much more easily from a Erdnase break rather than a pinky break, or even a thumb break. Okay, so from the pinky break, it still works, obviously, it's still fine, but there's a little bit more movement. I mean, you can see that my hands moved a little bit more there that time versus if I do it with the Erdnase break. I guess it's not really that big of a difference, but for me, it's just a lot more smooth to get into it that way. So it can be used with the Mahatma control as well. So, but yeah, I would say start trying it out with the double undercut at first. It's a really nice way. It's very, very deceptive. It's a great illusion that there's no break or anything, like so that you're just cutting anywhere randomly. Okay, rather than deliberately cutting from somewhere. Especially, you know, since everyone uses the thumb break when they first learn the double undercut. This is not very deceptive. So this is just right away it's going to improve a number of controls and make them better. So definitely would try it out, guys. And now let's talk about how to get into it some different ways. So obviously if you have 2 packets, that's a pretty easy way. You could also dribble. So you can get into the Erdnase break from the dribble grip as well. So I use this type of a dribble grip. This is actually more of like edge, like kind of the corner grips, like Kosta Kimlat style. But you can do it from here too. So it's just setting the packet down, and then I'm just going to move my fingers here. This is in slow motion, right? So it wouldn't look like that in fast motion. It just look like, all right, boom. Let's leave it there. And again, what I do is I go with a pinky break first, and then go into Erdnase break. It's more deceptive that way. So that's kind of like how it would be. But you can also just set it down in Erdnase break from the dribble grip as well here, and just be careful not to show this little gap here. But again, if you're like turned this way, it's actually fine, right? And then you can, you know, reposition a little bit to whatever grip you're comfortable with the double undercut. I use the dribble grip for the double undercut because it's just more natural to me. But yeah, so you can practice that. And then again, I don't want to get into the double undercut too much here, but you know, yeah, I'm not going to get into it too much, but there is some better subtleties to the double undercut you can also use with this, which is to initiate the cut with your dominant hand rather than your deck hand. So it makes it look like you're cutting the packets down into the deck. But that's a lesson for another day. Let's talk about how to get into it from a spread, because this is going to be my favorite way to do it, really. Now, I've already gone over this on the classic pass video, how to get a break from a spread. There's so many ways to do it, but if we're going to be doing it into the Erdnase break, there's a specific way I like to utilize that makes it a little easier. So what you're going to do is you're going to split the packet, so you'll have the fan spread here, and then you'll have a regular kind of squared up packet here. You're going to get your fingers on the side below the top edge of the pack, and you're going to get your index finger below the top edge of the pack, or you can also bring it to the side here, whatever you're comfortable with. But the point is that you can lay the cards on flat. Okay? You want to be able to lay them on flat because that causes more friction, so when I close the cards, it leaves a step right here. So that step right there is above their selected card. Right? So now all I have to do is just get a pinky break, or you can go straight into the Erdnase break from here too, but I recommend that you get it into a pinky break first. So you just come square this all up, and then you have a pinky break. So it's very simple. Let's show you that again. Lays on flats, close up, you just kind of toss everything over, you'll have a step. Okay, my pinky's already in there, so all I have to do now is square the cards. That's literally all I'm doing. Pinky's already in there. Boom. I square out both edges, the front and sides. Okay, that was a little, like, don't square like that, but just for demonstration, I'm trying to show it to you from this angle here, but yeah, it would just look like this normally. A simple little square of action, something like that. Alright, so now we're at a pinky break, and now we're the same as before. Now we can grip it here and lever as we cover with our fingers, and then square up this edge nice and tidy if we wanted to. And you got the Erdnase break. So, pretty simple way to do it. You can also go directly into the Erdnase break from the spread as well. This is not recommended, but this is something I do sometimes if I want to do a very, very quick pass. So I'll close up the packets like this, and it's already Erdnase break. So I'm just like before when you're closing up with the 2 packets. Now if you're going to do it with the spread, it's the same thing. You just contact in the middle, and then these fingers here on the edge are sticking out above the top of that packet. So before they're below, so I can land flush. Now they're going to be above. So if I have them above, now when I close it up, it's automatically in Erdnase break. Alright, and when you do it this way, you're going to close the packet up so that the spread goes over the front edge like this, instead of flush and square to the pack. See, you want it out in front like this when you close it up a little bit. That way it hides that gap right there from the front. Alright, so now all I gotta do is just make sure that my fingers are covering that as I square up, and boom, we got our break. Alright, Erdnase break. Now, that's basically it, guys. So I encourage you to try this out, and you'll see how much it improves some of your other controls and stuff like that. And again, I like using it with the classic pass a lot. I like using it with the Herman pass. I like using it with turnover pass, Hotma control, double undercut. There's a lot of one, and I mean straddle pass. It's phenomenal for the straddle pass. So yeah, you'll find a lot of applications for this. But again, I'll just show going straight into it. See my fingers up above. I'm just here. It's all closed up. And then as I come here, I can square up and then do my dribble pass or whatever it is, right? And it's pretty simple from that. It's a lot more direct, but if you wanted to script it out and structure it a little bit more better than that, I recommend laying it on flush here, getting the step first, because now I can be hands off. I can hold it like this. Be like, okay, your card's lost somewhere. All I need to do is make sure my pinky's there as I square it all up. Boom, I have the pinky break. Now, anytime I want, I can transition into the Erdnase break as my right hand comes to touch the pack. Obviously, you have to have both hands on the deck to manipulate it, but you want to make sure that you always have a good motivation for bringing the hands to the deck. So if you're doing a pass or doing any control, either you're going to shuffle the cards, you're going to square the cards, or you're going to set the pack down, hand the deck out. Have a good motivation for bringing the hands to the deck, okay? But yeah, once you're in the pinky break, you can easily just push up into that Erdnase break, and now I have a right hand break. So pretty nifty, pretty nifty. It's going to take some work. Again, like sometimes you might get a little discrepancy here, but the idea is that you're only in this grip for literally less than a second. This is a transitionary thing. So again, if I get pinky break first, I can square that up, get it all squared up. It's lost somewhere in the deck, whatever. And now, whenever I want, I can come here and transition into the Erdnase break. It happens for a split second. Okay. Same thing with if I do like a dribble pass or something like that. Actually, with the dribble pass, sometimes I will set it down in Erdnase break from default if I do a dribble pass, unless I'm doing it from a spread. So if I spread the cards, I generally will get the pinky break first, right, and then boom, now I'm in Erdnase break. Okay, so there's a couple different ideas there. Let me grab a different deck because these are kind of clunky right now. So yeah, this will be a lot easier to do with a brand new deck. If you have really worn out cards, it can be very clunky getting into the Erdnase break. To be honest with you, it can feel really junky and clunky and not very good. But if you have like nice fresh cards that can spread, these aren't completely fresh, but if you have cards that spread pretty relatively easy, practicing this break will be a lot easier because squaring up the edge, it won't be as like sticky and clumpy. All right, so just keep that in mind as well. If you are struggling at all with this, try switching to a newer deck, and then that should work a little bit better. So, but that's basically it, guys. And like I said, this can be used with almost any type of control that's from the middle. I use it for all kinds of stuff. But one of my favorite things to do is kind of like the straddle pass thing, where you can show the card here, and then you go into the Erdnase break, and then it gets passed right there. And the reason why it's so easy is because there's so much more room for that card to slip out, right? So if I close it up like this, look at this giant amount of space I have, and then I can just easily slide that card right out onto the bottom. Now, that's not really a straddle pass per se, but it's something I've been messing around with. I might actually do a tutorial on that move at some point. But yeah, it's basically just a really, really quick, easy control to the bottom. So something I've been using, kind of like that. So it's kind of like a straddle pass. So you can use it for that as well. You can also use it for side steal. So it comes in kind of like at that angle again, and then the card gets slipped into your hands from there as well. So instead of just placing it on flat and then pushing it out like this or whatever, you can come in with the dribble grip, and you kind of angle the pack just a little bit. So it's not really necessarily an Erdnase break, but it's using similar concept and principle, right? Of having a little bit of a tilt to this top packet, and it just makes it so you have a little more room to work with here, right? And now it also, I think it helps the illusion of when you set the pack down, it looks like you're setting them down square or whatever, right? So that's all I really got for today, you guys. Hopefully that was helpful, and let me know if you guys use this, and if you have any problems or any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. So sorry for the bad audio and bad video quality today. I wanted to get a video out, and I didn't want to do anything super duper, but this is something I've been wanting to do a video on for a long time, and it is just one little kind of utility move, like kind of a get ready break thing, but I think it's very important that people learn this and use this. It's definitely improved my controls and my magic quite a bit, especially with the pass. So thanks again, guys, and I've been Josh, and I will see you guys again hopefully soon.